Greetings, duelists, and welcome to another deck report. This is Season 5, Week 21. I'm recording this on a Friday because I've been having a very busy week, which means no other uploads involving other content for the time being. And the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championships are happening at the moment as well. I kind of want to see what's going on with that. And I just been having a little bit of a busy week overall. I did go to locals yesterday, and I did play something very different from what I'm used to. Also, we're deviating from the Justice Hunter decks right now. I know that you saw a lot of Draco Tail on this channel before this, and I kind of want to try something different and to see if older decks and strategies can fit well into Justice Hunter format. And I will say this, I am very happy with what I picked for this week. But yeah, we'll get straight to the list and I'll explain everything. So see, if you see this is Gem Knight, but it's probably not Gem Knight in the way that you expect the Gem Knight to be. So for monsters, we got 3 Armadillo, 3 Nephrim, 2 Hollow Cores, and 1 Gem Knight Quartz. These are all the Gem Knight monsters in my main deck. Obviously, Gem Armadillo is not Gem Knight by name, but it is a Gem monster, which is way more important now because we have more Gem Knight cards that actually work with more Gem monsters. We're playing 1 Engraver, just 1 Engraver. We're not playing Lacrima or Attract or any of those cards. I do have the option for them, but we will talk about that later on. But yeah, just 1 Engraver. Now, buckle up because what you're about to see is something, well, you've probably already seen this in too many other decks, but yeah. 3 Izuna, 1 Lupus. Hold on, we're not done yet. 3 Ash, 3 Fua, 2 Perulia, 2 Droll, 2 Bell, 2 Veilers, 2 Ogres, 2 Nibirus, and 3 Imperms. If you haven't done the count, I'll do the count for you. There are 25 hand traps in this deck. That's a lot. That's more than Triff's Jummy deck. And a few other decks are very similar to that. We will explain that as we go with the rest of the profile. But yeah. And in case you're wondering, yes, I am counting Izuna and Lupus as hand traps, and these actually do play a role in this deck. So we're moving these here. Now for the rest of the cards, 3 Gem Knight Dispersion, Brilliant Fusion, Foolish Burial, and the Gem Knight Fusion spell. This is exactly 40 cards. So we're just gonna move these real quick over here. Let's go to side deck real quick. 3 Phantasme, 2 Droplets, 2 Lightning Storms, 2 Thrusts, Talents, Crossout, Called By, and Feather Duster. Extra deck: Ripper, Dice Matcher, Side Blaster, Caesar, Requiem, Moon, and Necroquip. That's it for the Fiendsmith engine and the K9 engine. Gem Knight Quartz, SP Little Knight. I move this here. And then we have Dispersion, Lady Brilliant Diamond, Lady Rose Diamond, Prismara, Seraphinite, and Lady Lapis Lazuli. Alright. So, explanation is in order. If you've already seen Gem Knights before in action, you already know that Gem Knights are a really strong board breaking deck that just focuses on OTKing with its main fusions. You've seen a lot of Gem Knight lists or strategies just going second and just plow through opponent's board with these cards. And it's really easy to do that when you have cards like Gem Knight Quartz. If Gem Knight Quartz resolves, Gem Knight Quartz gets you to Brilliant Fusion, and Brilliant Fusion gets you to Master Dispersion, and all of a sudden you have access to a bunch of monsters. And not only that, like, by resolving Brilliant Fusion, you are also like triggering Nephrim. You also have Hollow Core live if your opponent tries to stop you. Like, it's just a lot of pressure done with just one card. And this Gem Knight Quartz is super searchable. Like, you have the 3 Nephrim, you have the 3 Dispersions, you have the 1 Foolish Burial, you have the 3 Gem Armadillos. Like, there are so many ways to get to it. And like, if your opponent just has a very soft board, you're killing them. Like, this deck can play through a lot of stuff right now. Shoutouts to Brian Velez. Like, he was one of my yummy opponents this week. I played through the entire Yummy board with just a Dispersion resolving to get Gem Knight Quartz. And I had 2 Dispersions in my hand. So it was really rough for him. The fact that this card is a soft, it's a soft once per turn, it's like once per turn for 2 effects. And both effects are really good. Just already tells you, like, just how strong the deck is. Another really cool thing about this deck, and another reason why I opted to go for the heavy hand trap approach with this deck, is there are no such thing as redundant cards with this deck. Like, 2 Armadillos kinda is awkward. Like, you don't want to see multiple Armadillos if you don't see, like, the other cards. But Armadillo can get to Hollow Core. Hollow Core can dump Gem Knight Fusion. Hollow Core and Armadillo makes the Phantom Quartz. And Phantom Quartz grabs you, like, Nephrim, and then you can grab back the Gem Knight Fusion and then fuse with the Nephrim. And then the Nephrim triggers, the Nephrim gets summoned, and then the Nephrim is going to grab us like another Armadillo, and you just keep going. So, like, 1 Gem Armadillo alone already does a lot, even on turn 0. So, that's the other thing I want to talk about. Gem Knights are not known for making really good boards on turn 1, and that's where the Fiendsmith and the K9 cards come in. Like, ending on Ripper plus DDD is good enough because you don't need to stop your opponent from playing. All you need to do is just soften their board. You just want your opponent to not OTK you or not get to you next turn. And if you have this and you pair it with all these hand traps, like, your opponent is not killing you. Like, it's just way too much for your opponent to deal with. And like, Ripper just having the pseudo floodgating effect, but not only that, it also adds you Izuna, which is just another hand trap, just is really strong as well. And another really cool thing about this deck, and the reason I actually did like it, is this deck can make Ripper with just this engine. And if we go back to, like, the Gem Knight cards, so one of the level 5s will be Seraphonite, which is super easy to get if you get to 2 Dispersions. And if you use Phantom Quartz effect, Phantom Quartz can make Lady Brilliant Diamond, And Lady Brilliant Diamond can get you to Lapis Lazuli. And Lapis Lazuli is also level 5. And then you overlay these two, and you make the Ripper, which is very easy to do. I know there are a lot of Gemlight lists that play 2 Seraphinites, and that is something I do want to experiment with, but I kind of want to diversify my options with my Gemlight cards. I kind of wanted to have as much as I can with it. There are talks of the time rules being changed later on, but I didn't want to end up on a situation where I just lose in time. To awkward stuff, maybe my opponent reading my cards. So that's another reason why Lapis Lazuli is here. I did win 2 games yesterday because there were long grindy matches, but you know, time was a factor, and I ended up summoning this and resolving this. I burned once for 3k, and I burned once for 4k, and it was a game both times that I did it. So, as for stuff that I did make or did not make this week, I did make Ripper. Funnily enough, I did not make Valon, and I did not make Paradise Smasher. The reason Paradise Smasher is here is because if you get hand trapped at any point and you open the Zuna, you can Izuna Lupus plus a Fusion 5 to Paradise Smasher. And it's very easy to get there in this deck. But shout out to Carlos Baez. He was one of my Yomi opponents. He did beat me on game 3 because he opened 4 hand traps, plus Obedience Schooled, plus Talents. We don't talk about that, but it is part of the game. With them going second, of course. He brought up to me that it's very hard to resolve Paradise Smasher this format if you're playing like against people that are just prepared for it. And he's not wrong. However, I kind of just wanted to test the waters because the logic behind Paradise Smasher is generally it's an OTK deck. So if your opponent doesn't get to play their next turn, it's the same logic as just ending on Ripper and DDD, right? Like, you just end on like a board that's strong enough to just pause your opponent from playing. Now, how the hell did I get to 25 hand traps, right? I know that a lot of people are probably thinking that. Like, 25 hand trap is not like super typical in combo deck. Like, not even Malice and Johnny gets to those numbers without sacrificing part of their engine. Like, this deck has 11 one-card starters. Like, you got the Dispersion, you got these two, and you have like the Armadillo. You have the Armadillo, and you have the 3 Nephrons. If any of these starters resolve, they're either the K9 Fiendsmith pseudo board with follow-up, or they just they just outright kill your opponent, like on the game. If you go second, Quartz also becomes a starter. So that's 12 instead of 11. And not only is it 12, it's going to be 6 cards in hand, which I think puts you on the 90% mark. I'm not super sure. I know it's above 80%, which that's something I am super sure of. If you open Hollow Core plus any hand trap or any monster, this is the DDD board. So let's talk about Engraver real quick. I don't want to do something super fancy with the Fiendsmith cards. I don't want to turn this into a Fiendsmith slop. I don't want to like rely on the other Fiendsmith cards or part of their engine or whatever. Something to note is like the K9 engine is really strong against this deck, just because you have a lot of graveyard and hand effects. So I kind of didn't want to overwhelm myself with Fiendsmith card and just falling victim to the K9 cards. That's probably like another reason why Ogre and Bell are in this deck. Like these cards are pretty much K9 checks, as well as like also functioning as like regular hand traps as well. I don't feel like I needed more than 2 Nibiru's. You could argue for the third Veiler, but I kind of just wanted the deck to be at 40. Same thing with Droll. Like my opponents were asking me why I'm on Droll this format, and it's like it's pretty much what I'm telling everyone. That is what I said at the beginning of this video. I just want an extra turn. Having an extra turn with this deck is really crucial, and even though Droll is not super effective against the Justice Hunter decks, Droll plus another hand trap is. And there's still the older decks around. Like Mitsurugi topped a lot of regionals last week, and it also won the UK Open. So I kind of want to respect that deck as well. Ryziel could still be a thing. And this is not that bad against Yomi and Vanquish K9. Against those decks, if they start, like for example, Extravagance and you do this, or if the Yomi deck starts with Engage and you do this, like that's a lot they're missing. Like they're missing a Cup C effect, they're missing a Cup C Way effect. Like they still have Snatchy for Mignon, but you know, like their setup is not going to be super drastic. Perolia is not the best this format, so I'm not maxing out on Perolia. Fualos is crazy. Like, also fun fact, I did draw myself on turn 1 twice this week because of Fualos. That did happen, and I did win one of those 2 games. That I did that. Well, I can't say if I won the other 2, the other game, but yeah, is this the best way to play Gem Knight? I can't say for sure, right? Because I know a lot of people are fan of the Blind Second deck, like Isaiah Estrella, which is currently at Worlds right now. Shout outs to them. Like, I hope they do well, like this week. And people in my locals were asking me, hey, do you think Estrella will be playing this? And I was like, I don't know. He's very focused on Crystron K9 as of late. That's just something I saw. But yeah, like other options for this deck. There's one engine, and it's called the Vingolf Blessing engine. So for those who don't know what this card is, this is a TCG exclusive from Alliance Insight. And this card is essentially Foolish Burial for fairy monsters. So this can dump the Nephrim. So this can dump Nephrim, and Nephrim just kickstarts your engine. The other effect of Vingolf is that if Vingolf falls to the graveyard, you can special summon a fairy monster from the grave. I think level 4 or lower. So this going to graveyard resummons back Nephrim. But how are we sending Vingolf's Blessing to the graveyard? That's where Golden Lord comes in. So Golden Lord is really cool in this deck, because not only does Golden Lord work with Vingolf's Blessing, it's a light attribute for Seraphonite, so you can send it with Brilliant Fusion. And the other really cool thing about Golden Lord is you technically do have infinite fodder for Golden Lord in this deck. You can use Gemini Fusion to grab back Golden Lord from graveyard, and you can use Gemini Fusion to dump it alongside Golden Lord if you just want to get rid of a threat on the board. So that is one really cool option in this deck. And you don't care about what you banished with Gemini Fusion, because you can use Phantom Course to just shuffle it back to the deck and to just refuse to remake the fusions. So that's one approach that you can take with the deck. Something I saw the OCG doing, and that was and fun fact, the OCG was an inspiration to make the deck. I saw a list that topped a China Series tournament, but that one was heavier on Fiendsmith. that one was playing Tract and Lurie and all these cards. You can do that if you want. Engraver is at 3, well, they have it at 1. But I just felt it was very unnecessary. I just didn't want to make Desiree. I didn't want to make Duke of Demise, even though Duke of Demise is also really cool if you play the Golden Lord engine, because Golden Lord is a zombie, so you can make Duke of Demise with it. I don't know, I just didn't feel like it was necessary. One thing I actually did miss, and I will play this in this deck, is the second copy of Phantom Quartz. This came up a lot. Like, just making Phantom Quartz with Phantom Quartz, banishing the Phantom Quartz to grab the Gem Knight fusion, and then just fusing away your Phantom Quartz with the other Phantom Quartz is really strong. It also means this actually becomes a pseudo infinite loop, because we do have 2 Gem Knights that just require 3 Gem Monsters or Gem Knight Monsters. Like, this requires 3 Gem Monsters, this requires 3 Gem Knight Monsters. So you can just keep resummoning and re-looping between these monsters. You could play a heavier Gem Knight approach and just like cut the K9 cards. You could also do that, but I kind of just wanted to play the K9 cards. You could play Jokel if you want, but I don't feel like it's necessary. Like, this deck doesn't need to be a combo deck. I mean, it does, but it doesn't, if that makes sense. You kind of just want your combos to be with, like, these. Alright. That's it from me. I hope you found this video informative to your liking and understanding. I will make another video later on talking about if this decks can keep up with the Justice Hunter decks. The short answer, I think, is yes. I actually do think Gem Knights does have what it takes to beat Yummy, to beat Draco Tail, to beat... probably Vanquish K9 will be a rough matchup for you, but I do think it's possible. But yeah, until next time, keep practicing and keep dueling.